Hi guys, so this video is a video all about lateral hip pain. So it's about greater trochanteric pain syndrome, and this one's for the patients out there. So this is for people out there that might have this pain and what you can do about it. So basically this condition is a condition that affects the outside of the hip. You can get referral down the leg as well, and you can actually get referral right down the leg towards the ankle with this condition. It's basically an inflammation of the tendon, of the muscles that attach into the outside of this hip, or the bursa, which is like a soft fluid-filled sac that sits between the tendon and the bony bit on the outside of your hip. Classic ways to know if you've got this condition would be pain on the outside of the hip, pain to press around the bony part of the outside of your hip, problems when you lie down on that hip and lying, particularly sore in the mornings, or if you've been sat for long periods of time, when you get up, it being really sore. Not particularly painful to put on socks in the groin, and not massive amounts of pins and needles or numbness down the leg that's associated with any back pain. So if that's sounds like something that you've got, or those symptoms are in keeping with what you've got, it's very likely you might have this condition. So prognosis wise, the good thing is these things get better. So they really do get better most of the time. The bad thing is that they do take a long time. So 6 to 9 months is an average, and that's 6 to 9 months from when you've been doing your rehabilitation, and you need to be doing the right rehabilitation, which we're going to go on to in a second. So what can you do about it? So the first thing, simple advice we would give would be non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, so your classic ibuprofen type medications, icing the area, and weight loss is a big one as well. So if you're overweight, lose some weight, because that will have a big impact. The next thing is a physiotherapy approach. We would always want to do this for, as I say, 6 to 9 months, because most of the time for most patients it will improve if you do the right stuff. You need to be consistent. This is the key. I say this to so many patients I have. Ultimately, if you're not doing the exercises, you're not going to get better, and it takes a long time, so don't be disheartened. Every other day, be working on these sorts of exercises and you will improve. If things really don't improve, and the other options you do have is an injection into the area, to the bursa. Research has kind of shown that either blinded or non-blind, which just means that either they use ultrasound guidance or they don't, doesn't really seem to make a massive difference in outcomes. And then there is a surgical option as well with a trochanteric bursectomy, basically removing the bursa, or a lateral release, which is where they release, go in and surgically release the ITB, which is tissue on the outside of the leg, so they kind of release that. Really mixed outcomes with this. So this is something I would really only advise patients to do if they've tried the other measures already and they're really struggling and just not getting on, because again, the outcomes are not brilliant with this sort of thing. So let's move on to our exercises. We're going to go through some basic ones. This would be if you're in the early phases of this condition, and you were struggling quite a lot with pain. These are easier exercises, and then we'll move on to some more difficult ones that you can have a go with once you start to feel the symptoms settle down. So the first exercise here we've got is a double limb wall or Swiss ball assisted squat. Second exercise in our basic exercises is a quadruped, which just means hands and knees with a straight leg hip extension. So you're pushing the leg out behind you, squeezing the bum, making sure there's not too much extension of your lower back. Same position, but what we're going to do is test the, do this with the bent knee and with the hip extension. So basically you're kicking back with the leg, but you're doing that with the knee bent. Then we've got a side-lying hip abduction. So this was shown to be moderate intensity, but it can be quite high in some people. So you might have to be a little bit careful with this. I'd actually suggest doing this as an isometric to start with. So basically you lie in the position and you would push up into your own hand, creating some level of discomfort, but not too much, for 5 seconds. And then you would release, and then you'd relax for 2 seconds and do that again for 10 reps. All the sets and reps will be on the video. I'll put it over the top. Next exercise, is a double limb prone bridge. So basically a plank, pretty much standard plank. Keeping that lower back nice and straight. Don't let that back arch too much. So squeeze the glutes and engage the stomach muscles. And then the last exercise is a lateral step up with a hip hitch. So with this one, we're basically stepping up from the side. Obviously the step can be either smaller or larger depending on where you are in your rehab. And you would then hitch the other side up in the air and that creates the strengthening on the standing leg. So again, if your right leg was the problem side, you'd stand on the step with your right leg. So now if we move on to our advanced exercises or our higher level exercises, we've got our single leg skater squat. So this is basically jumping from side to side and kind of going into a single leg squat, but with the other leg coming slightly behind you. Then we have a single leg deadlift. So basically using either nothing, so body weight, or you could use small dumbbells and actually doing a single leg deadlift, keeping the leg nice and straight that you're on, keeping the lower back nice and straight as well. So you like a tabletop position. Lateral plane band walks, so basically monster walks. You put some bands around the feet, you step outwards. You basically want to keep the gap between your feet though. You don't want to let the feet get too close together because otherwise you're not going to be putting the load through the muscle. A single leg prone bridge with added bent knee hip extension. So basically this is a normal plank, and then you're going to bend the knee and lift and extend the leg. And you're doing this with your the leg that is painful lifting. So basically if you were painful on the right side, you'd be on the left leg lifting the right up in the air. Then we've got a single leg side bridge and then with hip abduction. So this is actually really high level. I would say that this one you might need to do on your knee to start with. I really like the one lying on with the knee. I'm going to show you both variants of this. So it's one knee bent and then lifting the other leg. The other version is really tough. So this would probably be one I would say to leave right to the end of the rehab where you're really doing well. And then obviously with this one, we've got a lateral step up as well. We've gone for a slightly higher step with this one. So we're adding load by adding range of motion. So hopefully those exercises there, guys, are going to give you something to work from with this glute tendon problem. If you're doing these exercises and you're really not improving, then obviously see a healthcare professional or see someone about the problem, because it may not be gluteal tendinopathy, and a full assessment will really be able to guide the treatment for going forwards. And finally, action plan wise, get some anti-inflammatories, use ice. If it's applicable for you, lose some weight because this will massively help. Do your exercises, build the strength and endurance. Appreciate that it's going to take time. It really is going to take time. So don't feel like this is going to be an overnight thing. And obviously seek help if you're not improving. So there's your action plan for gluteal pain syndrome or greater trochanteric pain syndrome. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a like and a subscribe with hitting the bell icon, and that way you'll be notified of any more videos that are coming out just like this about other pain and exercises and physio. If you like this stuff, get yourself involved in the community, leave some comments in the section below, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon.